Welcome to FabFit TV. I am your host, Kim Barnes Jefferson, and I help women to find the courage to break free of the diet mindset so they can live a life of balance, peace, and harmony when it comes to diet and exercise. So today I'm going to take a little bit of a left turn from what I've talked about in the past because, here it is, it's summer. It's not summer, but here in New England we've really had a hard spring, and winter has just refuse to give up. Today we've got a nice beautiful day outside and I feel like singing and doing leaps because it's so nice outside. So it got me thinking about summer, and it got me thinking about how many times we all press that reboot button. How many times we think about getting fit for summer, and it's days like this that make you automatically say, I'm going to run to the gym, I'm going to deprive myself, I'm going to do this, and this to get ready for summer. And then the leaves fall, and then next thing you know, you're back in the same boat where you're going to the gym here and there, eating here and there. And so what if you had someone that held you accountable? What if you had someone who, when you said you were going to start something, held you to your word that you were going to finish it? When you promise something, I know for me that when I tell someone I'm going to do something, I have to do it because I refuse to be that person who's a flake. And we all have those friends, family members, colleagues who, if you say, hey, on Tuesday I need a ride to pick up my car, you know that there's that certain person who is always there beeping their horn right when you need them to pick you up. Then there's that other person that you got to make sure you call them the night before. And then you got to make sure you call them that morning in order for them to do something. Or you call them the night before and they're like, oh, well, what happened was, and there's all these excuses and tap dances around why they can't help you out. And what is it that makes you, some people accountable for that and some people not accountable for that? And so I'm talking to people who, if you tell me, there's a line from Jerry Maguire that I always whenever I say let's shake on it, it just pops in my head. In the movie, Jerry's trying to sign one of the biggest, well, if you've never seen the movie, Jerry Maguire is a sports agent and he's trying to sign this big, top football player at the NFL draft. And the father says, I don't believe in contracts. And, Jerry's like, ooh, try to get him to sign a contract. And he shakes his hand, he's like, my word is oak. So every time I, make an agreement with someone, I'm like, my word is oak. And it just makes me just flash back to that conversation. At the end of the day, his word wasn't oak. He ended up really signing a contract with someone else and pretty much screwed Jerry. So whenever I think about that, is your word oak, or are you willing to sign a contract to honor your commitments? So a few years ago, I was sitting at my kitchen table, and I have a pub height kitchen table, and it fits 10 chairs at its highest or maximum capacity. And I said to myself, wouldn't it be great if I had 10 other women sitting around with me and we were able to just air all of our business, all of the things that have kept us stuck, kept us wanting to take things to the next level, kept us wanting to not keep pressing that reboot button, and we all held each other accountable. My goals became their goals and their goals became my goals. And no one was left off in the corner that they could get away with not stepping up, not honoring the commitments that they set forward. And so I was like, it just, that idea has been festering in my head for probably about 2 years. And so finally I said to myself, I'm going to figure this out. And as for me, as a small business owner, I've been a part of several masterminds, and, as an entrepreneur, you're pretty much alone 80% of the time, other than, me talking to my clients, but my clients don't want to hear about I'm trying to figure out my next promotion, and my clients don't want to hear that I'm trying to figure out, how to fit in working out while trying to service my clients, while trying to get new clients. They don't want to hear about that. And same for, some of my other entrepreneurs, and probably some of you, that you have people who are supportive of you, but they don't understand. They don't want to hear about how you're trying to lose weight, or they don't want to hear the struggles that you might have trying to fit it all in, because they're like, girl, I've been there, done that, and you ain't done nothing. And I was like, there are other women out there who have the same thing, where they just want to say, hey, I've been reading a lot about this. I've been reading a lot about keto, I've been reading a lot about Whole30. What do you think? And have a council of women who you trust their opinion, who may have gone down that road and can tell you firsthand, hey girl, this is what you should expect, or this is what it's not about. And you come in with an informed decision versus, following something you read on the internet and you took it off Pinterest and you're like, this is what my diet is for the next 5 days, whatever. So it got me thinking that most people don't go to a Weight Watchers meeting to step on that damn scale. They go to the Weight Watchers meeting for the camaraderie. They go to the Weight Watchers meeting because if Susie doesn't see me, she's going to be like, hey girl, where were you last week? What happened? And me being how I am, I didn't really feel like going. I didn't really feel like leaving my house, because we all can get that way. There's so many times that, and there's times where I get paid to leave my house, and I'm like, God, I really wish I couldn't want to go, but I committed. And even if it was meeting a friend for coffee, a friend that I absolutely love, sometimes I'm like, it's raining out, I don't want to leave my house, but I go because I made the commitment. So it's the same thing about Weight Watchers meetings. It's not the scale that people want to go for, or maybe you hit your goal weight and you want to celebrate with someone, because maybe your husband, your kids, or anyone else that you're part of really could give a rat's hind parts if you hit your goal. So I was thinking about this camaraderie and this accountability piece, and that's really big. I mean, it's big for me. I've always been a part of, always had very supportive friends who, I could text right now and say, this is what's going on with me, and they're like, get your butt to the gym. But not everyone has that. Not everyone has that group of friends that they can say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this program, this diet. And they could come back to them with an educated response of why it's awesome or why it sucks. So if we flip the script and we just focus on the accountability, the support, and the motivation, because 90% of the people know what they need to do, know what's missing, and it's just a matter of having that cheerleader, having clear goals to keep moving forward. And I've worked with thousands of clients, and 80% of them come to me and they already know, foods that they need to add into their diet, foods they need to subtract out of their diet, and they know they need to move more. And it's just a matter of someone holding their feet to the fire. And that's what this group's all about. That's what a mastermind is all about. It's, you saying, this is my goal, and letting the rest of the collective support you. Letting the rest of the collective say, Kim, for the last 3 weeks, you've told yourself that you're going to go to the gym 7 days a week, but you've been only getting to the gym 2 days a week. Do you think you should scale it back? Or what's keeping you from the 7 days a week? So that you have this, not a coach per se, but you have these, these hard questions, these intelligent dialogue between people who really care and they want to see you succeed. They want to see you have success. So let me take 4 steps back. And let me just talk about what a mastermind is if you're like, I have no idea what this chick is talking about. So there was a gentleman by the name of Napoleon Hill. He wrote a book, Think and Grow Rich, back in the 1800s. And it still is in, I wouldn't say it's in the Amazon top 20 books. And if you are an entrepreneur, it's one of the top 10 books that everyone will recommend that you read. And Napoleon Hill was a reporter back in the 1800s, and he happened to interview Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie, if you don't know who he is, he was one of the early, millionaires in America. Railroad, steel, railroad steel, I think he did something else. Google that. But anyway, he was one of the, early millionaires. And when he was interviewing Andrew, and he said, so what was the number one way you would say that you've been successful? And he said, I've been a part of powerful masterminds. And, Napoleon's like, can you explain? So basically, I'm going to just read the definition word for word. It's a group of people who come together for the collective good of the group. And so he would get together with other captains of industry, and they would talk about their challenges, they would talk about their problems, but it was in a non-competitive way. And they would all bounce ideas off of each other and go away and implement the ideas that, came out of that shared group. And there are other millionaires who do the same thing. Henry Ford. We drive in Fords, the Ford Motor Company. He was part of a mastermind too. And he talked about that they all were part of these masterminds, and that it was just a group of people who just all came together to help each other reach their goals. And there was no malice. There was no anything sinister about this meeting other than, I need some support, this group is going to help support me. So, like I said, I've been a part of several masterminds, and it's great because it's awesome to be able to text someone, put a Facebook post in a private group, Voxer someone and say, hey, I'm thinking about having this new program, and this is what it's called, and what do you think? And someone say, I don't really get the name of that, but if you move, this and this around, I think that might sound better. Or if you did it, on a Saturday, it might get more response than if you did it on a Thursday. And just have people literally give you their opinion, because when you're sitting by yourself, the voices in your head can only take you but so far. And the same thing can happen, when it comes to your fitness. It's talking about going to a bar class versus a Zumba class versus a CrossFit class, and just having that collective conversation around what's going to best support your goals. And one of the hallmarks of a successful mastermind is having a great leader. And that leader is someone who is a part of the mastermind, but they also make sure that they bring in the right people, so that there is a nice synergy between the group. So that is something you look forward to. And because you're going to spend anywhere from 6 months to a year with these people, it's people that you get along with. It's people that become very close to these folks. So they design, the leader designs the program. They bring in group guest speakers to help facilitate something or to drive home a point. So it could be bringing in an author of a popular diet book, bringing in a fitness expert, or bringing in an expert on the latest website software. Whatever it is, they are the person who helps facilitate the group and keeps the group moving and grooving and so forth. And the members are folks that all have similar goals. They all want to get healthy, they all want to get fit, but it's not about beast mode, it's not about lifting Buicks every day. It's about, how do I have a healthy, strong relationship outside of just the gym? How do I make this my life without spending all of my life at the gym? How do I make this so that I have balance, peace, and harmony around diet and exercise? And there is a cost associated with this. And it's funny because just as I was coming in here, I was scrolling through Instagram, and yes, that's how I kind of decompress before I get on air. So I was scrolling through Instagram and there was a quote that said, when you have skin in the game, you stay in the game. And I loved that quote because so many people, when you don't pay for something, you don't value it because you haven't had to put any value to it because it was just given to you. But when you buy something, you put your hard-earned money into it, that's when you start to pay attention to it. That's when you start to personally invest in it. And I know that a lot of people don't want to invest in their health. And one of my challenges is that, for example, our cars, perfect example. Our car, we drive it, and the only time we ever think to do any type of preventative maintenance on our cars is if a light goes on and says, check your engine or check your oil or check. That's the same thing with our body, but our body's a little bit more silent because most of us, our bodies do talk to us, and most of us will ignore it until our body is literally like, I'm on fire, you need to put me out. And unfortunately, some things that we let go too far, it's not an easy fix. It's not like our car where it's like, oh, I want you to think about it, it's like a car where you don't put any oil in it and your engine seizes. That's a pretty either fatal for your car, you're getting a new one, or it's a pretty hefty expense to either rebuild or get a brand new engine. So when when they tell you to go check your oil every 3,000, 5,000 miles, it's something that you want to pay attention to because is it worth the 10 to 15 grand that it might cost you for a new engine? Or if they might be like, hey, sorry, your car's just dead. So that's what I feel like a lot of people are about health. They don't want to invest in preventative maintenance so that later on they're not buying that new engine. Does that make sense? So the investment in yourself, it's helping you accelerate your learning. It's also helping you to move closer to your goals. Because how many of you, as I started the show off, how many of you every single April say, this is the year that I'm going to walk down the beach and I'm not going to have strategic clothing cover me, or I'm going to go to the beach and I'm not going to have strategic I'm going to be able to walk down the beach without any type of like cover up. I'm going to go on vacation and it not be like, okay, I got 2 weeks vacation and I'm on the treadmill every day and I'm eating rice cakes and Diet Coke, right? So how do you get to that point that it's on automatic, that everything is just flowing, everything's just a moving and a grooving? So how the Mastermind works in the fitness world is that you no longer feel by yourself. You no longer feel like you're the only person who, has tried CrossFit and it didn't work for you. The only person who's tried the, ABC diet and it hasn't worked for you. The only person who has failed at keto. Like, you don't feel alone because, there have been times that I felt by myself that like I'm the only person who's going through this, and that kind of sucks. So in a mastermind, you never feel alone. You always have someone who you can reach out to help you through something or help cheer you on for something awesome that you've done. Maybe you committed to going to the gym 3 days a week and boom, there you are on your third day and you're snapping a selfie on the Stairmaster, or you challenge yourself to eat more vegetables and you told your accountability partner that you are you snap a picture every time you have a vegetable. And if they don't hear from you, by 5 o'clock, they're like, hey girl, what's up? Where are you? What's going on? How's it going? But it's also a time for you to share your challenges. I had a client, and she was my client when she was single. She became a client when she was a bride, and she became a client after she had kids. So she's been like a perennial client. And so when she was single, she would come to the gym Monday through Friday, every day at 5 a.m. Nothing stopping her, right? So then she meets her husband, and she still was able to do that. Then they have a kid. And so now with kids, their schedule dictates your schedule. And she was so frustrated because, you know, for years, Monday through Friday, she could go to the gym. And now, you know, she had one kid, then she had two kids, and juggling kids and trying to get to the gym on time, plus get to work on time, wasn't working for her. And she would get so frustrated. And it was, you know, saying you might need to scale back your expectations. So that's something that you would talk about in the group. Like, you know, I've been trying to do all this stuff. I'm not able to do all this stuff. How do I do it? And the group helps you brainstorm these ideas. The group helps you, you know, come up with ideas. Because sometimes, like, for example, there's some things like, I don't know everything. There's so much that happens that, you know, they might do, I don't do on-demand fitness. I know on-demand fitness is a thing, but they might be like, oh, you should try Susie Q's HIIT workouts. They're awesome. They're on demand and they're only 15 minutes. Great. And you have someone who's a spokesperson for that program who you might try this. So like now you're at home doing 15-minute workouts and you're not feeling so bad about not going to the gym. So it's helping you to think bigger about the problem, and you're not just sitting there, because I mean we've all are guilty of it. You know, we're sitting there and we just like pile on all of the problems. You know, just pile. Like it won't work because of this. It won't work because of that. It won't. And you just get stuck in that vortex of like negativity. Where in this collective, no one's gonna let you do that, because as soon as you start the whirling of the, you know, the shame and blame and sucking this game, they're gonna be like, hey, reverse that. How do you come out of it? How do you, instead of just going down the drain, how do you pull yourself out of that drain? And it's helping you to learn new approaches, to think differently, and also helping you to not have to always be the expert, because I feel that we can be experts, but sometimes it's exhausting to have to know everything. Sometimes it's really nice to just be able to not dump your problems, but be able to say, hey, this is my problem, this is what I'm thinking of, I've reached my wits end, anyone else got something for me? And just to hear that, you know, second, third, or fourth opinion. And in this collective, it's a safe space. It's a space that you can just be yourself. Open the kimono, as they say. And there's no judgment, because we're all trying to come together to solve a problem. And there's no judgment that someone's gonna be like, oh girl, you're a big old hot mess. Oh, she's got her stuff together. No, it's everyone at some level has messiness in their life. Without messiness, without struggle, there can't be triumph, right? Not everyone like wakes up every day and they're like Rocky running up the stairs. You know, sometimes you're like, you gotta like slug it out with Apollo before you can run up the stairs. So in this group, it's okay for you to say, I'm having a bad day and I need someone to help me like pull out of that, you know, pull out the drain of suckiness so that I can start to like lift and build myself back up. And the best masterminds are limited in the number of people who are in it, because I find that when you have more than, I'd say, 10 to 15 people, it's really easy for you to hide. And trust me, I can hide really well in a group. And I don't want there to be any hiding. I want to make sure that each and every person feels heard. Each and every person feels a connection into the group, that we're, you know, if there's, like, if you think of it as like a power strip and everything's plugged in, and, you know, as soon as you turn off that master power button, like everything shuts down. That's how plugged in you are to each other. And then, you know, why would you want to be part of something like this? It's create some deep and lasting relationships. As women, or as adult women, we don't really meet a lot of people. It also gives you a chance to be vulnerable and just open up and accept help and like say, I need help. It also gives you focus and clarity and new ideas. And so this is just a new way of how to approach fitness. And so it's called the Freedom Collective, and it's definitely something that if you're interested in, you know, definitely just go to my website and check it out and see what it's all about. It's right there on the homepage. And it's basically helping you to break free. It's, you know, one of the best things I've ever done is have accountability partners. You know, I have a friend that I will text, and she's not the friend who's going to diss me. She's the friend who I text her every Sunday, this is what I'm doing for my workout. And every Friday, I say, this is what I did. And if she doesn't hear from me until Saturday morning, she texts me like, what'd you do? So it's like having that kind of like structured accountability, structured motivation is, I think, what's going to take a lot of people from here to here. So thank you guys so much. It's been wonderful chatting with you. Next time we'll meet is on May 8th, and I'm going to talk about the summer reboot. I'm going to give you 8 tips to stop pressing that reboot button so that when nice days like this come out, you're not scrambling to see if you can fit into your clothes. You're not scrambling to see, you know, I'm going to go to the gym, reset my membership, and do all that craziness. You are like, it's a nice day out, and I'm going to go in my closet. I'm going to pick out whatever I want to wear. So you can find me on my Facebook page, Kim Barnes Jefferson Coach. You can find me on Instagram, Kim Jefferson Coach. You can always shoot me an email at squadleader@fabfitsquad.com.